Hi friends, welcome back or welcome if you're new. My name is Tatiana, or Tanya for short. I am a homeschooling mom and I like to make videos about everyday life, ways that I make every day special and find ways to make each day enjoyable and fun for our family, for my kids, for myself. I like to make videos about feminine things that I'm interested in, about being a mom, being a wife, and being a homeschooling mom. And I like to share the things that work for us in our homeschooling journey. And today I wanted to do an update on our math curriculum. About 8 months ago, I believe, somewhere around there roughly, I did an unboxing of the Good and the Beautiful math curriculum that I am using for my daughter who is in first grade. She's 7 years old. In that video, I talk about other curriculums that we had used in the past and they didn't necessarily work for us. So I decided to try out Simply Good and Beautiful Math 1. And long story short, we have been absolutely loving it. Before this curriculum, math was a little bit of a chore for my daughter. She was not enjoying it like she enjoyed all of the other subjects that we do. She loves the literature, our science programs, just anything that we did, she really enjoyed. And then math was always kind of like a different experience every time we had to do our math lessons. And so that is what ultimately led me to change the curriculum, just to try out something new. I don't think there's anything wrong with switching things up, especially if you see that it's not working out for your child. And for me, it's really important to foster a love for learning. I want to give my children just a good foundation and a love for learning throughout their whole lives. And so especially, not that I necessarily think everything can be super fun, but I do think that especially in the elementary years that you can make things fun and you can make things enjoyable and interesting for them. When we start out our lessons, typically I would do like handwriting and then we'd move on to literature and then go so on and so forth. And math would either be kind of like in the middle or towards the end because it wasn't something that she looked forward to. And now when we do our lessons, she actually asks for math to be the first lesson that we start with, or the first topic that we start with, which is really encouraging to me and makes me feel really good that it's working out. And we had a dentist appointment last week and they were making like small talk with my daughter and stuff and talking to her and asking her how school is going and all those things, and asked her what her favorite subject was in school. And she said math. And so that made me feel really good that she is no longer dreading this topic, especially something as important as math. So like I said, this is the curriculum that we're currently using for math. I really love how simple this is, both for myself and for the child that's learning, for my daughter. I like that there is all the information that you need in the lesson is right here in the course book. It gives the parent a script to say. A lot of times, I will go in depth or we might have a conversation about new concepts, but I do feel like all the information that you need is right here in the lesson. In each lesson, it gives you a great description. It tells you if you need anything in addition, which usually you don't. If you need anything in addition, it's very simple things, maybe like coloring pencils, sticky notes, just, very basic things. There's not like a bunch of prep work that you're having to do, which I really enjoy, especially as a first generation homeschooling family. This really takes the pressure and makes it feel very doable for the parent. And I also feel like it's very straight to the point for the child as well. I don't feel like they drag out the concepts. I don't feel like they make it complicated. The lessons are very straightforward, especially what I really like is each lesson ends with a review. So, you'll learn a new concept or, continuation of a new concept. But at the end of the lesson, there's always a good chunk of the lesson that reviews what we've learned in prior lessons. And I really like that because I can see how that really solidifies the concepts that the children are learning. For my daughter, I can see that like even in everyday life, whether we're like at the store and just, talking about like how much things cost and how much you would need and, just things like that, I can see that she's really understanding these concepts that she's learned in math, especially with like counting coins and things like that. She's gotten so good at that. Whereas in the beginning it was, confusing and just like she wasn't so sure of herself. And now counting coins is just kind of like, almost like common sense. And even like with shapes and different things like that, I can see how the curriculum and the lessons have really mastered and really solidified that information in her, and she's really understanding things. And it just makes me feel good as well that this is working. Another thing that we really enjoy is that they incorporate a lot of like games and mazes and puzzles and things like that in the lessons. And I've noticed that my daughter really enjoys things like that to break up the lesson. She's not somebody that likes to just like sit and be in the textbook. And I feel like most kids this age range are not going to enjoy just sitting at a desk and just doing textbook work. So I really enjoy that they break things up and they make things fun. An example of that is just even simple things like this, where they make the background and the pictures interesting and they add in the addition problems all throughout the page. But it just, like for my daughter, even small things like that make her interested and excited about it, versus if it was just like a list of addition or subtraction problems over and over again. They have games for the parent and the kids to do together. I really enjoy that they incorporate like story problems, and I'm always really impressed with how she's able to grasp the story problems and like all the information that it gives. She's able to understand, okay, this is a number, this is the information that I need for the equation, and things like that. So that makes me feel really good that I feel like really important concepts are already being solidified in her, and that makes me feel really, really good. They have mazes like this for the kids, which again, very simple activity. This isn't anything groundbreaking, but it just changes it up from just being equations on like a blank piece of paper. So you're having to solve the subtraction problems to get to at the end of the maze, and it's giving them practice, but it also feels like an activity. And like for my daughter, she's always loved mazes ever since she was like really little. So this is something that works perfect for her. They have games for the parent and the child to play together. You roll the dice and then you move the amount of times that the dice, tells you, but it helps the kids with counting, especially as the numbers get higher and higher. So this has also been very beneficial and fun for both of us. And she always loves when there's games that both of us can play. And that's something that she also looks forward to. So it just makes me happy that she's not only learning and understanding these things, and there's a good amount of review, she actually looks forward to it. And right now that is very important for me. And again, I'm such a big fan of how easy and how like of an open and go curriculum this is. Obviously this will be, vary from family to family, and whether you're maybe, you were a teacher or you are more creative and you want to add things in yourself, maybe you would want to choose something that's, a little bit more flexible for you to add. But for me, I really love how all the information that I need is right here. I don't have to worry about a lot of prep work. I don't have to worry about creating a lesson for her. If I want to add anything else, I can, and it's easy to do that. But just for every day and making sure that we are doing our lessons and progressing, everything that I need is right here in the course book. And so I just wanted to give you a little update about how it's working for us. When I first started looking into homeschooling a few years ago, these types of videos were really helpful for me and really made me feel equipped and helped me choose curriculums, helped me understand kind of what homeschooling was, and helped me understand that this is something that I can do and something that I want to do. I did feel, or I know that God called me to do this, but it was a little scary and a little stressful to take this leap of faith and to start homeschooling my own children. But like I said, the videos that I watched really helped me. And so I want to do that for other families, whether you are interested in homeschooling, whether you're just starting out, whether you just want to hear about other curriculums. I want to be able to hopefully be a resource or be helpful to someone else, just like the videos were helpful for me. So if you have any questions, any comments, if any of this information or any of my previous videos resonate with you, don't forget to subscribe, to like the videos, comment, let me know about your homeschooling journey, where you are at, the curriculums that you use, just anything, in this realm. I would love to hear about that. Any suggestions that you may have, leave them down below. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.